Welcome back. This video will provide an overview of the Forms module in HearForm Pro. Let's start on the home screen. You'll notice the Forms button here in the center will take you to the Forms area, but let's first start by talking about the left and right buttons here. Notice in the area over to the right here, when I click the Forms button to the left here, it slides that panel to the primary Forms panel, and that gives us the ability to do a few extra things that we couldn't do otherwise. For example, from this panel we can click here, choose a desired form, and then either preview, print, or email that form for Jennifer. The found set of patients, or the group that might be isolated, can also be previewed, printed, or emailed by clicking these buttons below that. You can also create a PDF of that form for the individual. You can go to the form, or you can fax the form to the doctor or to the patient. The patient fax number is, stored right here under the third dot here. So if you want to fax something to a patient, highly unusual for you to do that, but that's how you would do it. So let's take a look at this button here. If I want to go to a form, then I can get there very quickly by choosing the form first, as I did from the drop-down list of choices, and then go directly to the form there. So again, you'll choose the desired form. Let's go over here again. From the drop-down list of choices, such as the caption call form, and I can go directly to that form. So that's how that area works in the upper right by clicking this button here on the far left. When you click this button right here, it pops up a window that asks you to either approve or deny that private health information can be sent to the patient through a variety of different methods. So notice when you mark the box here, approved, then it turns green on the far left, or it can turn red if it's denied. Let's just clear that, and then the button is clear itself. If you don't like that color, just let us know and we can remove that if you'd rather it not be a designation for you. Down below, we can email that private health information permission document to the patient. We can print the document and have them fill it out that way, or we can actually go to the document and you can see the document here. If I preview it, then you'll be able to see, let's click the preview button. That text can be edited and changed for your particular needs to make sure that this covers your bases. So we'll exit the preview and come back to the home screen for a moment. There are a couple of different panels that will allow you to work with the Forms area. You've already seen the primary panel here, which is dedicated for that. You can also click this little button right here, and this will give you the ability to modify the opening and closing message when you email a form. So you can try that out and see how it works for you. But you also can go to this panel here, which is called Front Office. And this is something we've recently added, but it might be in your system, and this allows you to see the patient appointment history in a smaller way, but also work with both the forms and the letters on the same panel. So that might have some value to you. And here, let me zoom in a little bit and slide over so you can see it a little bit better. Here we can preview just for Jennifer, or the patient you're looking at, or you can preview the found set. You can print or preview for print for the found set right there. Email for the individual or the found set. So that smaller button with a little group icon indicates that it's for the found set of records. You can also go right to the form by clicking that little button right there. Now it may default back to your default panel, which happens to be Front Office in this case. In the same way, you'll see that you can do the work with the letters drop-down list of choices and preview, print, email, or go to that letter area. So that's all on one screen. And again, depending on your particular setup, you might also have the ability in a dashboard. This dashboard adds the ability to see your appointment history, but it's much smaller. Only the two most recent appointments are showing at the top, and you'll have to scroll down to see additional ones, but that may be fine with you. And then we can see again the Forms module here, where you can click in the drop-down list. We've added the to-do list, and that may have value to some, and then the audiogram. That way you can kind of see everything at once in that area. So again, choose whichever panel works best for you, as I scroll out here. And I think that pretty much covers those buttons on either side of the forms. Let's talk about this button right here now. As of 2019, HearForm as a company has been around for a little over 25 years. You'll notice, of course, that the word HearForm contains the word form. And HearForm was started in large part to make things easier and to automate the process of forms and letters and that sort of thing. And we've tried to do that with the Forms module. We have a series of different kinds of forms categorized, for example, custom forms, where you have 50 buttons right here. The first 4 columns are 1 page, and in most cases the 5th column is a multi-page option. You may have multiple forms, so you can use that there. We also have Audiology. In this case there are 20 Audiology forms, 20 outcome forms, 20 international forms. These are primarily for Canada. Human resources, some business forms, and marketing forms. We also have HIPAA forms, and you do want to pay attention to the information that's on here regarding legal verbiage. So we don't want to come across as telling you the proper information for a HIPAA form. We suggest that you go to Health and Human Services website and get the information directly from the government themselves, or talk to a HIPAA privacy officer, an appropriate person who would know how to put the proper information into your forms. Let's go back to this custom forms area real quick, and you can change the titles of these buttons right here very easily now. You don't have to go into quote layout mode. Instead, just click this little button right here in the upper right, and that will allow you to just type over the form name. If it says custom form 35 and you wanted to say my favorite form, then just type that over that, and that changes the button name right here from button 35 to whatever it is you've typed. So it's real simple to change the button names there on all of these different categories here. Now some of these forms are slightly interactive. For example, this is an AFAB. When you pull this up on an iPad, let's preview it to see how it will look. It's going to look something like that, and the patient can actually click into the box itself, and they'll have, let me exit preview, they'll have the option, as I zoom in a little bit, to select something from the drop-down list of choices. So rather than having to circle something, it's just as easy perhaps to select a letter from the drop-down list of choices. In the same way, you'll notice that if I change this to 1 to 10 years, notice on the left it just changed. So I can change this right here, and I don't have to type anything. I just simply click with an Apple Pencil, or if you can with your fingertip, that will change the text on the left. Now a lot of that other information is brought in automatically. For example, the patient name and gender, today's date, the hearing experience, daily hearing aid use, and employment is filled in as I exit the preview from some of these drop-down list choices here. So the forms can be interactive to some degree, and the audiogram area, for example, can be printed out so that you have a blank audiogram. If you're going to do it that way on a piece of paper, you can print those out ahead of time right from the home screen, and I'll show you how that works right now, how you use that Forms module. So let's zoom out again a little bit. Let's say I wanted to find, with this little magnifying glass, all appointments for next week or tomorrow or whatever it is. So I'll just say yesterday, for example. So I have, it tells me 11 up by this circle pie chart, 11 patients who have an appointment for tomorrow. Well, I may say, yes, I know I don't want that one, that one, that one, or that one, but I want these 7. So I could come over and choose an audiogram super bill or an audiogram itself. I'll just choose this ANSI one, show you how to add other choices to that in a minute. And then I could actually print, by clicking this button here, I won't actually do it, but I could print a blank audiogram, something like this, for that group of patients there. So just make sure ahead of time that they're assigned to an office location and a clinician, and that way some of that other information will automatically come up on the printed document. So again, it's real simple to do that, or let's just do one other example. I could choose a super bill, like super bill A here, and that will then print, as I move it down a little bit, but that will print that information right for one individual or for a group. So you can do that pretty easily right here. So let's go back to the Forms module. I'm going to click this button right here, if you can see me flashing that button, and that allows me to see all my other navigation buttons here. So let's go back to the Forms area, and I'll explain a little bit about this setup area. In this area, you can, for a variety of reasons, hide the letterhead. You may want to print on your pre-printed letterhead for some reason, but you can also show that information by clicking either hide or show letterhead there. You can print a number 10 envelope. It's the same as going to the envelopes area or printing an envelope even from the home screen, either a number 10 or a number 9. We have a little legal notice here that's basically letting you know that you should use proper counsel when filling out forms that are appropriate for legal reasons. This little button here will take your found set. For example, let me show all patients, and we've discussed this in another video, but this will print up a telephone directory that you could print out and bring that with you if you ever want to have your entire or a limited part of your database ready to carry in the car with you, or as a PDF. You can email it to yourself, etc. It's kind of a nice little form. So we just put all that on here, and the Forms Help button, something that you're viewing right now is this video right there. You would click on that and play the video, pop up the desired pictures as needed, and then if you ever see additional help, click that button. This tells you what I just showed you a moment ago, to how to change your button titles. So the Help button is right there. And you could, if you have not already done so on the home screen, this is where you can actually select a clinician for this patient, James Adams in this case, or select an office location. So these two areas here are white in this case, so that you can know which field you need to click into to make that change. When I change it from that to Jennifer or to Jana, then it just changes the photograph and the clinician's name right there. So let's talk about the bullet points here. From time to time, you may want to create your own custom forms, and FileMaker doesn't have bullet points in the same way that Microsoft Word does. So you'll want to copy these bullet points, and I'm going to cover that in our customization videos, but that's why we have them right here, so that you can come and it's a repository or a place to find bullet points of different sizes, or you can of course create your own as best you can. But that's why we have this here. And over to the right hand side, we'll cover this again in a subsequent video, but this is where you have merge fields, and this is where I can grab that information and use those in a variety of letters or forms. So that's what's going on there. Now, just like with the letters area, you have a history. Let's go back to our sample patient back on the home screen, because I know I have a lot of history for Jennifer. So if I want to go to the Forms area or Letters area, I have a Print History button, and here I can see all of the different times that I printed out a letter. I may have emailed the letter, I may have texted the letter or faxed it, and most, probably not all, but most of the time when you do that, it will record the fact that you've done that, and in many cases who you sent that to. If it's by email, it was sent to jennifer@patient.com, or we texted it to this particular phone number. And sometimes, depending on what you're doing in HearForm, if you're sending out a video link, for example, to a patient, and you want to attach documents, it'll even show you right here attachments, if any, so you can see what's going on there. And you can click this little button here, as you may have seen in another video, to cover your bases here and see, hey, what happened when I sent you that video link? Did you receive it, or did you watch it? Or, this is self-explanatory, but that might have some value if you want to keep track of your marketing results that way. So this is all covered under the Print History area. So you can put in the date for a letter or a form right there if desired, and this might allow you to change the date if it's other than today. That's why we have that field. So kind of play around and look at all these different forms that are here. Some again are interactive, or can be. Some are just something that you'd print out from the home screen. But I'm going to cover and show you how to create those forms in just a minute. Let's do something final here, and let's go, for example, to the cerumen removal consent form. And here I am. I can edit this, as you'll see in another video, but right now I don't want to edit it. I just want to get the right name for that. So let me show my toolbar. I accidentally hid the toolbar at the top, but we can barely see the name. We can't quite see what it is. And so I need the full name before I can put that in my drop-down list of choices on the home screen. So to do that, I'm going to hit Edit Layout in the upper right, and that puts me into what's called Layout mode. And then I'm going to click this little pencil here. It's hard to see, but I'll just kind of click that a few times. When I do that, it pops up a Layout Setup dialog box, and then I can see the actual name of the layout. Now you can rename something. Now it was a lot harder to do that in the past. It would create navigational problems, but now you can rename these forms and letters to whatever you want them to be, but they have to be the same here as on the home screen. So I'm just copying that, Control-C, or I suppose you could right-click and copy it here. And once you've done that, then I'm going to cancel and I'm going to exit the layout, and if it asks me to save changes, I'm going to say no. I may have accidentally moved something around. I don't want to save the change. What I want to do is go over here to this drop-down list of choices and scroll to the very bottom. It may be quite a ways down for you if you have a lot of forms. I'll hit Edit, and I could put these in alphabetical order or something that works for me. So I'm going to just put a little space by hitting the Return key. And I forgot that you're not looking at that. I'm sorry. So what I did is I have this drop-down list of choices. Let me make it all fit in the window here. Again, forgive me. But what I'm going to do is I put a space here. It used to look like that. And I'm going to hit the Return key or Enter key on my keyboard. And then I'm going to paste in Control-V, Victor, or just right-click and paste. And I put that exact spelling in there. I don't want an extra space or two after it. That could create a problem. So just exactly... backspace one more time. You just want that exact form name in there, and I'll show you why that's a good thing. Because now, when I click into the field, I can choose the cerumen removal consent form and preview, print, email, go to it. Let's just click email and see what happens. I want to send it to Jennifer, and this may not be an appropriate form to send to a patient by email, but you get the idea. So it's telling me that I don't have permission for her when I do that, so maybe I'll want to click this button and discuss that with her and see if she'll sign that form giving me permission to email to her. So let's just say I do. Now I'm going to send that by email, and it should not ask me this time because I've given permission. So let's make all this fit in the window here. Give me just a second there. So this is my email dialog box, and it goes right that easily right to Jennifer. And here's the form. We now, for the most part, do not put the patient's name in the subject like we used to. We've been advised for HIPAA reasons, you may not want to actually put that information in there. It doesn't matter if you have permission to do that, but we're just, again, being careful about it. So it's basically saying, please see the attached form from our office, whatever office location has been assigned to the patient, that contains an important document for Jennifer. Of course, that's in the body of the text, and you can have it fill out whatever you want based on, remember that little button I clicked that will do the start and the ending of an email. The bottom part of the email message is brought in from another area we've covered in the setup area that lets you set your security and your confidentiality notice and whether or not you're going to use that. So at any rate, let's just take a quick look at this. I'll open it. And it's opened on my other screen, so once again I'll kind of pull it over here, and you'll see then that as I make it all fit in this window, this is the form that's automatically filled out for Jennifer. All that information is there. Now it's a very basic form, but again you get the idea. The assigned office location letterhead is up there automatically. The date is put there automatically. If Jennifer prefers to be called Jennifer, or something, Jen or whatever, it would just merge that information along with the salutation there as desired. So we'll close that form there, and I would just click send, and it's on its way. And I'll do that, and then I just want to look behind the scenes here in the forms area. We'll go to the print history, and we see now that this one says, as of this date and time, cerumen removal consent was sent to this specific patient. So it's really easy. It takes me 5 minutes to tell you how to do it, but really you just choose a desired form like that, click email, and it's on its way. Let's preview it instead and pull that down into the window here. But it's just that form to email, print, or go to a desired letter just by clicking the appropriate button in the forms area. So I think you can imagine that you probably have a number of forms in your office that would be helpful to digitize rather. And once you learn to do that, I think it's going to save you a lot of time. So please do watch at least one of the other videos called Forms Modification Basic, and if you want to get into that deeper, you might want to watch the advanced version of the video as well. Thanks for taking the time to watch this longer video.